Hello students, welcome back in the new session of chapter 14, that is natural resources. In the last lecture we studied about very important resource, that is water. So in this lectures we studied about two important resources, that is air and water. In this lecture we are going to study about another important resource, that is soil. So let us see in detail about third important natural resource, that is soil. First of all, what is a soil? The soil is a combination of four main components, but very important component present in the soil is minerals, which is obtained as a combination of clay, slate and sand. Second is gaseous. This fills the space between the soil. So, the space between the soil particles is filled by gases. Third is water, held within the space in the soil, and in this space between the soil, some particles of water are also held. Organic matter, the remains of animals and plants which are being broken down in humus, are contained in the soil. So, these are the contents of the soil, but mainly it is the source of minerals which is very much necessary for the plants for their growth. Now we will see how soil is formed. We know that soil is important resource that decides the diversity of life in an area, and the outermost layer of the earth is called crust, which contains minerals which supply variety of nutrients to the life forms. But these minerals will not be available to the organisms if they are bound up in huge rocks. So over the long period of time, that is thousands and millions years, the rocks at or near the surface of the earth are broken down by various processes, and the end product of this breaking down into fine particles is soil. So now we are going to see the factors which are responsible for the formation of the soil. First one is sun. The sun heats up the rocks during the daytime, so they expand. This you have studied that when a substance is heated, it expands. At night, these rocks cool down and so they contract. Since all the parts of the rocks do not expand and contract at the same rate, this results in the formation of cracks, and ultimately the huge rocks break up into smaller pieces. Another factor is water. Water helps in the formation of soil in two ways. First one, water could get into the cracks in the rocks formed due to uneven heating by the sun. So we saw that due to uneven heating by the sun, cracks are formed in the rocks. Now this water will enter into the cracks, and if this water later freezes, it could cause cracks to be more widened. So this way the cracks will get widened. Now the second way is flowing water wears away even hard rocks over a long period of time. Fast flowing water often carries big and small particles of rocks downstream. So with the flow of the water, these rocks will also flow down, and during this the rocks rub against the other rocks, and the resultant abrasion causes rocks to wear down into smaller and smaller pieces. So this way, due to friction between two rocks, it will get broken into smaller and smaller pieces. The water then takes these particles along with it and deposits it further down in its path. Soil is thus found in the places far away from its parent rock. So because of this, these soil particles are obtained very far from the rock from which they are formed. Another factor is wind. In a process similar to the way in which water rubs against the rocks and wears them down, strong winds also erode the rocks down. So because of the strong winds, they get moved from their position and they may rub with the other rocks and get eroded. The wind also carries sand from one place to another, like water does. Another factor is living organisms. They also influence in the formation of the soil. The lichens that we read about earlier also grows on the surface of the rocks. Lichens are symbiotic plants, that is, they are found as compound plant consisting of algae and fungi together. While growing, these lichens release certain substances that causes rock surface to powder down and form a thin layer of soil. So they help in powdering of the rock into soil. Other small plants like moss are available to grow on this surface now, and they causes the rock to break up further. When these lichens powder down this rock into thin layer of soil, the plants like moss grow on it and they further help in breaking of this rock. The roots of big trees sometimes go into the cracks in the rocks, and as the roots grow bigger, the crack is forced bigger and bigger, and this way the rocks get broken down as the crack goes on becoming bigger and bigger. And this way the factors like sun, water, wind and living organisms, mainly the plants, help in the formation of the soil. Now students, you know that soil is a mixture. It contains small particles of rocks. Along with this, it also contains bits of decayed living organisms, which is called humus. Humus is a major factor in deciding the soil structure because it causes the soil to become more porous and allows water and air to penetrate deep underground. The mineral nutrients that are found in a particular soil depends upon the rocks in it was formed from. The nutrient content of the soil, the amount of humus present in it, and depth of the soil are the factors that decide which plant will thrive, that is, grow on that soil. The topmost layer of the soil that contains humus and living organisms in addition to the soil particles is called topsoil. The quality of topsoil is an important factor that decides the biodiversity in that area. And removal of useful components from the soil and addition of other substances to the soil is called soil pollution or soil erosion. So what is soil erosion? Soil erosion is the washing or blowing away of top layer of the soil. Erosion, whether it is by water, wind or tillage, that is by human activities, involve three distinct actions: soil detachment, movement and deposition. So now let us see how soil erosion occurs, that is the causes of soil erosion. Causes of soil erosion. There are three main factors that causes soil erosion: flowing water, strong wind and human activities like deforestation and wrong methods of farming. So first of all, let us see how natural way the soil erosion occurs, that is due to flowing water or strong wind. The particles of the soil may be carried away by flowing water or wind from one place to another place, and if all the soil gets washed away and the rocks underneath the soil are exposed, means if the rocks are seen, till that level the soil from that place is carried away by flowing water or by strong wind, then we have lost a valuable resource. Why? Because at that place very little plant will grow on that rock. Now let us see how human activities cause soil erosion. The large scale deforestation, that is cutting of the trees, that is happening all over the world, not only destroys the biodiversity but also leads to soil erosion. Next is farming. Modern farming practices involve the use of large amount of fertilizers and pesticides, and use of these fertilizers and pesticides over a long period of time can destroy the structure of the soil by killing the soil microorganisms that recycle the nutrients in the soil. It also kills the earthworms, which are instrumental in making the rich humus. The fertile soil will quickly be turned into barren if these practices are followed for a long period of time. So these were the natural and human causes of soil erosion. Now let us see the effects of soil erosion. First one, loss of valuable topsoil, that is the soil that contains humus and living organisms in addition to the soil particles. Second, burying valuable topsoil, which means that when it is carried from one place to another place where it will reach, there it may get buried under certain circumstances. Third, damage to field. Obviously it will create damage to the field as the nutrients are washed away along with the soil. Fourth one, plant productivity will decline. Plants get nutrients from the soil only, and if the nutrients or the minerals are removed from the soil, it will reduce the productivity of the plants. Fifth one, desertification. The soil which is rich in nutrient is continuously getting removed from a place, then it will become a barren land where no plants can be grown, which means that it will become like desert. So these are the effects of soil erosion. Let us see the ways to prevent or to reduce the soil erosion. First is vegetation. It is the simplest and the most natural way to prevent soil erosion. Plants establish root system which stabilizes the soil and prevents soil erosion. So because of the roots of the plant, the soil gets tightly sticked and it becomes difficult for soil particles to get moved from one place to another. Next is terraces construction. Terraces are large steps cut into hillside. Here you can see steps are created over the hillsides. This will reduce the slope length and steepness to control the energy of the running water and its ability to carry soil away. If slopy region is there, then water can easily move down through the slope carrying soil particles. If such terraces are created, then washing away of the soil by water can be reduced. Next is check dams. Small or sometimes temporary check dams are constructed out of various materials like stone, timber, steel, etc. to control erosion, reducing the velocity of water flow. So in order to reduce the velocity of flow of water, such dams are constructed, you can see in the diagram. This will reduce the speed, that is velocity of the water, which carries away the soil particles. So students, these were the measures to prevent the soil erosion. And with this we conclude our lecture. In this lecture we studied about very important resource, that is soil. We studied what is soil, how it is created, what is soil erosion, causes of soil erosion, effects of soil erosion, and measures to prevent soil erosion. We'll continue with other topics in the next lecture.